Hello, and welcome to our first installment of the Ignatius Press Liturgical Living Spotlight. My name is Rose Trabick, and I am here with Kendra Tierney. Welcome, Kendra. Kendra doesn't need much of an introduction now, right, Kendra? You've done these many times before here. But I do just want to say that you are a wife and a mom of, I believe, 10 kids now.
Yes.
From older kids to little kids. And then I also have your two books that we publish here at Ignatius Press, the Catholic All-Year Compendium and the Catholic All-Year Prayer Companion. So we'll be talking about these books, and our hope is that the two of us can have a chat maybe once a month and look forward to the month ahead, what's going to be happening liturgically, maybe some ideas from your books, and also maybe some ideas for some Ignatius Press books to use along with them. So
Sounds great.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I wanted to start off with the year of Saint Joseph. What have you guys been doing in your house? Like, have you been doing anything special to honor Saint Joseph this year that's different from what you normally do?
Yes, and I actually just was looking it up. There are a bunch of special indulgences available for the year that cover lots of the prayers that you might usually be saying for the year of Saint Joseph. And that's really what we've been doing. Is we really like the litany of Saint Joseph. Litanies in general are such a great participatory way to pray in a family. And I think that the litany of Saint Joseph is our favorite because we all get to, because of, the title of Terror of Evil Spirits. Everybody loves that one. And then everybody yells, "Pray for us."
Yes. That's fun. That's really fun to do with kids too, right?
Yeah. It's really great. And so we've been doing that, and yeah, we're it's a fun way to pray. So
well, I'm gonna have to try that one here at home. We've never done a litany like that before, so that's on the to-do list. And speaking of kids, I did want to mention this new book that we have here from Ignatius Press. I know you have a copy.
I have it too, and it has the litanies and whatnot in it. That and a lot of these prayers are. A lot of them are usually have a partial indulgence attached to them, but there are special indulgences for the year of Saint Joseph you can look up.
That's great. Yeah, and this book also has, in small, it's hardcover. I'm not actually aware of another kid's Saint Joseph book like this. So this is definitely unique, and I love it. It has really cute little illustrations, a little bit about who Saint Joseph is, prayers. And then there's also like some stories at the end about like little different stories about Saint Joseph and people, how Saint Joseph has helped them. So it's really a sweet book. And we'll drop the link below to this so that people can.
I thought that the litany was in it, but it isn't. But it's in the Catholic All Year Prayer Companion.
It's in this one right here.
Yeah, and I really think so. There's 26 little chapters in here, and I think that if you were looking for something to do with a family, you really could sort of read a chapter, one of these little chapters each day, whether it's a prayer or a story or just some information, and it would work as sort of a devotional for a month for the family. I think it would work well for that.
Definitely. So definitely something that's great for kids and also for parents to kind of use as a springboard to jump off of in talking about Saint Joseph. This upcoming month also has a lot of Marian feast days. Of course, looking ahead to October, in a few weeks, we know that that's, the month of the Rosary and a great month to honor Our Lady. But there's something, I believe, the 7 Sorrows of Mary that's coming up in next week. I believe it's September 15th.
Yes. Yeah, that's September 15th. And there are some devotions associated with that. There's a lot of devotions associated with the 7 Sorrows of Mary. And but our favorite is a scripture activity that we do with the kids, because each of the 7 Sorrows is associated with a Bible verse, a section of the Bible. And so we read the scripture verse aloud and then eat something sour, like, take a bite of a lemon or eat a sour candy. Yes.
These are from your Catholic All Year subscription box. Which
those are not sitting around. Those are really sour.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about them because I think the idea is to try to eat them without making a sour face.
Yes, because Mary kept all these things in her heart, not on her face.
That's great. Well, my kids saw those candies and were like super excited about it. And I was like, well, let's see how they turn out. And I know that during the scripture you had, we actually were just chatting about this yesterday, the Ignatius Bible, which is the Revised Standard Catholic Edition, Second Catholic Edition. And many people do believe that this is the gold standard for Catholic Bibles. And there's not only our own Bibles, we have many Bibles, but also a lot of other places will use our translation of the Bible. So just wanted to give that a little throw out there when you're reading the 7 Sorrows of Mary from the scriptures, right? You read them right.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can find them in the Catholic All Your Prayer Companion. If you have that, they're, taken out. And you can just read through them. But I actually really like to use this feast day as an opportunity to practice looking things up in the Bible, because that isn't something that comes naturally. Your kids aren't naturally going to know how to look things up in the Bible. And, somebody will tell them, oh, that's what Bible verse is that? And you don't want to be that mom.
Yeah, you don't want to be that person, right? That doesn't know where heard of how to look in the Bible. Especially if you live in the South, right?
Right.
You need to be able to pull those up really quickly.
Yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You saddle the horse, and I'll jump on.
There you go.
But yeah, the Ignatius Study Bible is so great because of the footnotes. The footnotes in there just explain everything in such a comforting way, because it's easy to read through the Bible and be like, I don't know about that part, and then I go to the footnote and okay, that's all right. Then. That makes sense.
Right, exactly. So helpful. And that's something else that's coming up that I've actually just been learning about recently. And I wonder if you can kind of give us a quick explanation of these things we've been hearing about called Ember Days. What are those?
Yeah, Ember Days. Ember Days are 3 sets of fasting days that were previously mandatory for all Catholics. 4 sets of 3 days. I don't know what I just said. 4 sets of 3 days of fasting that were one in each season, and they used to be required days of fasting, and now they are still recommended, but they don't show up on the liturgical calendar, and they aren't mandatory. But I think that we could all use a little more inspiration for prayer and fasting in our lives, and the Ember Days are inconvenient and bothersome, and they show up right when you don't want them to, and I think that's kind of what's great for them about them is they allow us to have a date on the calendar that we can use as a fasting day, offer those prayers for the prayers are offered for specific things in specific seasons, and it's Lenti, Penti, Lucy, Cruci is how you remember them. So it's it's the Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday after the feast day. So in September, we have the Feast of the Holy Cross on the 14th. And so the Ember Days would be begin the next day on the Wednesday, the 15th. If you're looking at a 1960 for liturgical calendar, they are observed on a different date, but the 15th, 17th, and 19th would be the day that goes along with the rhyme when they were traditionally celebrated, and
so that's in September then. So coming up very soon. And I noticed that in your Catholic All Year box, you also had this great recipe, which I don't know if it sounded super penitential, shrimp tempura, but the idea is that you don't eat meat on those days. So just and the other thing is that I'm amazed, hearing you speak about these, is how much fasting people used to do. And how
it used to be 60 something required days of fasting on the calendar, I think, and now it's 2.
Right.
So vigils of important feast days, including Christmas. So Christmas Eve was considered a fasting day, and the Ember Days and and Ash Wednesday and Good Friday, which we still have. But, and I think it's okay to take baby steps. And also when you're thinking of, when you're calling them fasting days, our fasting, fasting in the Catholic Church it's pretty gentle.
Yes,
so, you can have 2 what they call collations, which are half meals, and then 1 full meal. And actually on the Wednesday and Saturday of a fast of Ember Days, you can have meat at your main meal of the day.
Okay.
Just not in your collations. And then Friday is fasting and abstinence. But, I think it's just a really good chance to, to let food not be the boss of you for a few days, learn that we can do hard things. And, and I just think that it's an opportunity that the church gives us for a really important and an effective way of prayer. So to choose something that we're offering up on those days. And then, like you said, the recipe that I included in the box, and of course you can find them online, is for tempura, because shrimp tempura, it was actually developed by early Japanese Catholics alongside the Jesuit missionaries as an Ember Day, as a fasting day food.
Oh wow! Okay.
And it's really delicious.
Well, I remember just a few years ago, my mother-in-law told me that they used to fast every day in Lent, and I was blown away by that. That's what used to be required. Is and again, it's the gentle kind of one big meal, but still,
you can have meat one meal from the day, except on Fridays. Yeah. Right. And it's something that we can look at as an opportunity, because I know I was doing the backpack through Europe thing in my 20s with my sister, and we were on a train in Italy, and these boys came up to talk to us, and they're like, "Oh, you're American." I'm like, "How did you know we're American?" It's because you had snacks. Americans always have snacks. It's true. We always have snacks. And just even if you take Lent just as an opportunity to eat only at meals and cut out snacks, that little moment of ooh, maybe I'll grab something to eat. Oh, I'll just have a little bit of snack. If you're not doing that because it's Lent, then every little reminder of that is a reminder to prayer. It's a call to prayer. And
something to offer up, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's something to offer up, and it helps to detach us from the good things of this world. And food is such a good thing and such an important part of feasting and community. But learning that we could maybe do with a little bit less of that, I think it's a great lesson and a great thing to introduce in the family.
Absolutely. So definitely, we're going to be checking out Ember Days in our family and maybe trying to incorporate them a little bit more. So thanks for explaining that. And if you've never heard of Ember Days, definitely look more up about it. And also, I believe in one of the books, either the companion or the compendium, you do have I think it's the compendium, a little explanation in the back on Ember Days. So
yes.
And then moving on, because we do want to keep this kind of short, to give you guys just an overview of a little snippets of what to expect in the next month ahead. I did want to talk about Padre Pio. His feast day is coming up, I believe, September 23rd. And you do have again, this amazing Catholic All Year box, this rosary making kit. And here are the beads right here that came along with them. And we do have this great new book that just came out from Ignatius Press about Padre Pio. And Padre Pio was a very good friend, and I believe a spiritual father of the very famous exorcist, Father Amorth. And this book is actually by Father Amorth, which makes it unique because it's a story, basically stories about his friend, Padre Pio. And I believe that you also have this book with you, Kendra, right?
I do. Yes. Here's the front of it. Yeah. It's really, it's so conversational. And I think that it really feels like you're sitting at a dinner party with somebody chatting about Padre Pio, which wouldn't that be an awesome thing to do? Yeah, so I think it's really enjoyable, really accessible, and I think you get a chance to sort of see see a saint as a real person, but not, and I guess he specifically talks about that, not in a real person like oh, he was bad just like everybody else, like to see somebody who really was set apart by God from a young age, and and given this important job to do, and did it heroically. And I know some people really prefer their saints to be very accessible, but I think that aspirational is good too, because like these people really exist. It is possible.
Right. And one of the things is, I was looking it over last night, that, there's a lot of stories that maybe we've heard before, but they're actually, some of these, Father Amorth actually was there, or he he knew the person that had this experience with Padre Pio. And I think that comes out through the book. And another thing is Padre Pio's sense of humor. I've read a lot about him. I did not realize that he actually had a pretty good sense of humor. So as you said, it's great that we see these, there's definitely, Padre Pio was very different. He was definitely set apart, but that he still maintained his sense of humor through all of his ministry and his difficulties. So I did find that interesting about this very personal book, like you said. So, yeah. And why did you decide to include these beads in the Catholic Year box, the Rosary Beads for Padre Pio's feast day?
Well, so because the box covers all of fall, so it covers the feast of Our Lady of the Rosary in October, the month of the Rosary. So we knew we wanted to include that, and then we did want to give a little shout out to Padre Pio too. So the little bag has a Padre Pio Rosary quote on the little bag, so it holds all the supplies, and then you can store your rosary in it if you want to.
Always say the Rosary, Padre Pio, and he definitely lived that, right?
Yeah, he was such a proponent of that as something that, regular everyday people who maybe don't have quite the same mission from God as he did, but we can have that in common with him.
And also in these beads is the instructions. So there's not only the Rosary beads, but also the sacrifice beads, which kind of brings us into the feast day of Saint Therese coming up October 1st. So what are the sacrifice beads exactly?
Yeah, it's such a cute story that, and you can actually see, I didn't check in the book to see if they have a picture of them, but at Les Buissonnets, her childhood home in Lisieux, you can see they have her actual little sacrifice beads that she used to keep track of good deeds. She would try to do 10 sacrifices or good deeds a day. Wow. And it's just a unique way of making what would, a single decade rosary, but with a way to slide the beads so that they stay in place. And I mean, kids love it. It's a great way to be able to do that, that very satisfying kind of box checking, like, all right, yes, I did this thing. I did this. And, it's great for me too, to get to the end of the day and think, all right, what are 2 more things that I could do? So that I feel like I've made sacrifices, I've done good deeds today. And it's a fun thing to do, to just unite ourselves with a child, Saint Therese, who again, set apart by God, given this special, beautiful mission. But I mean, she is so inspiring as somebody who overcame a lot of, of personal deficiencies and character defects that are easy for me to relate to. We think of Saint Therese as this, holy nun, and she fought against, grumpiness and snarkiness and sarcasm. So I think she's very inspirational.
Absolutely. And I did want to show, and I think you have a copy there too, this new photo book that we have about Saint Therese. We both have our copies here. So something that I have been doing for a while, we have a lot of photo books here with Ignatius Press. This one is brand new, but I love to, on the feast day, or even the few days before, a few days after a feast day, is to kind of drop this a photo book, a related photo book around for my kids to look at. Because even the littlest kids that can't read can look at these beautiful, realistic photos and pictures about the saint and their life. So we just had Mother Teresa's feast day, and we have one from Ignatius Press called Works of Love, Our Works of Peace. I dropped that around, and I was just amazed to see the kids kind of going through and taking the turn, looking at the pictures of Mother Teresa. So I'm really excited to put this one out for them on around October 1st. So what did you think of the pictures in here, Kendra?
I mean, the pictures are so great. And we know that her biological sister and sister in the Carmelites, was it Leonie who had the camera? And so there's the actual photographs in there from within the Carmel, and their childhood. It's so great to see.
Yeah.
It's, these actual photos of a modern saint, from
the family tree there. So
yeah, it's really great. And I love the idea of, people do mantle decorations for different, holidays and seasons. And I've seen great, mantles for liturgical living, but how about just your coffee table? You can put out a different coffee table book for different liturgical seasons and different feast days. And what a great way to sort of draw guests and your family members in.
Exactly. And again, for little kids, it's a great thing because it's interesting for adults, but it's also interesting for little kids. And I didn't realize too, when I was looking at that St. Therese book, that a lot of, I believe one of her sisters and also Therese, they were these like incredible artists. And of course, one of my daughter was like, well, didn't everybody draw and paint beautifully back then? I was like, well, a lot of people did. It's kind of a lost art, but
if you wanted to be an accomplished young lady, you had to drawing and painting.
Exactly.
Make little tables.
That's a great, I think the idea of kind of using and implementing these photo books would be great. And I know we're wrapping up our time here. So I just wanted to, again, say a lot of these ideas we're talking about are from your books. And I also wanted to just give a quick plug for something that we have that maybe people know about, but our Formed subscription. And I know, Kendra, I didn't get you a subscription in time. I'm working on that so we can maybe preview some movies. But, I definitely look forward to speaking with that in the future, because a lot of times for the feast days, if you have the Formed subscription, it's like a Catholic Netflix. So you can look up, for example, Mother Teresa's feast day. We have a film about Mother Teresa. We just had St. Augustine. We have a film about him. We have one about St. Therese. So it's definitely, if some people might have a subscription through their parish, but there's also individual subscriptions involved. And it's just a nice resource to just look up what's going on that week or that month and try to find a film about it. So next time we'll talk hopefully more about those films. So I think we're out of time here. I hope that gave everybody a preview of the month ahead, what's going on liturgically, and it helps you to live liturgically in your home. So thanks again, Kendra, for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.